Hello, everyone. Welcome to the show. Coming up this week, we're going to talk about holiday availability at the DVC resorts. Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of the DVC show, coming to you from the Bob Varley studio in Orlando, Florida. I'm your host, Pete Werner, joined via Skype this week by my good friends from the DVC store, Mr. Jerry Saito.
Hello, everybody. Good to be here.
From DVCFan.com, Mr. Paul Krieger.
What's up, everybody?
No, not enough to switch. Okay. And from Disboards.com, one of our webmasters, who's been a webmaster for, maybe even longer than I've been, Rob Lindsay, also known as Webmaster Doc.
Hello.
And before we get started, just a reminder, if you are interested in selling your Disney Vacation Club contract, maybe upgrading to something new, give our friends over at dvcstore.com a visit or a call, 1-800-550-6493, and they can help you with that. Also, if you're looking to purchase a resale contract, they can help you with that as well. And of course, renting points or renting out your points. You want to maybe do something different. And you want to get some money for your points to offset the cost of whatever it is you want to do. Christmas is coming up. Not a bad time to do that. dvcstore.com. You can visit them there, or 1-800-550-6493. Give them a call. All right. So speaking about holidays and reservations, we are definitely in bizarro world because we are recording this show on November 16th. And as of right now, the kind of availability at the DVC resorts over the holiday season throughout the month of December into January is nothing short of ridiculous. Like nothing we've ever seen before. I mean, I was finding Christmas Eve, Christmas Day at Bay Lake Tower, theme park view in a 1-bedroom available. A lot of availability throughout the resorts. Fiasco, you mentioned you.
Yep. So I was able to secure a room Christmas Day at Animal Kingdom Lodge Jumbo House, and I checked to be sure what it currently is as of this morning. There is availability at literally every resort with the exception of Copper Creek and Beach Club for the entire week of Christmas. All the way up to Christmas Day.
Depending on the kind of room you're looking for. So, studios are still, tough to get.
And even a lot of studios still. Saratoga Springs, of course, you have studios there. Old Key West, you have studios there. Boardwalk, you have studios. Full availability. Animal Kingdom Lodge Jumbo House, you have studios. Bay Lake Tower does not. You have full availability at a 1-bedroom villa, though. Welcome home, by the way. It was deja vu. Everybody looks like Jerry again, and my welcome home comes a little late.
And I forgot to introduce you again. Oh my God!
It's okay. It happens. Polynesian also has. studios.
I think that may be a premonition. The Fiasco won't be here much. I'm kidding.
No. But yeah, so Polynesian full availability at their studios. Beach Club, no studios, but actually full availability in 1-bedrooms. So, wow. Riviera, full availability on 2 bedrooms, limited on other stuff. Grand Floridian, even full availability on 1-bedrooms. So,
now, part of this, my speculation is, we know officially now, we suspected this last week, but the earnings call that Disney recently had, they confirmed that they have upped capacity at Walt Disney World from 25% to 35%. That would, of course, extend to the resorts as well as the theme parks. And I won't get into whether or not that's a good idea, but I think it's a very responsible decision if they're going to increase to go in a 10% increment rather than, because right now, according to the governor of Florida, they're free to do 100%, no restrictions. And they've refused to do it. So I thought it was a very responsible decision on their part. Overall, I mean, tremendous amount. So that may have, like I said, that increase of 10% may be part of this, that more rooms have been brought online. So I just want to I just want to say preface this by saying I just got done spending a few weeks going back into the parks, first time since the shutdown. Was in the resorts, felt incredibly comfortable, but I didn't have to get on a plane to travel here. And even after being in the resorts for 2 weeks, I went and got tested this past weekend and tested negative. So yay, I did Disney World, didn't get COVID. But part of what's keeping people from coming, obviously we're seeing spikes in cases in COVID, including here in Florida and here in Orange County. But also there's, the travel aspect of it. So two of the folks on Skype, Paul and Rob, are both not locals. Any concerns for you guys?
In the past 4 months, I've flown 3 times to visit family and felt very comfortable and very safe. We flew in 2 different airlines, and the precautions they're taking are extraordinary. So I don't have any hesitation to step on a plane at this point.
That's good to hear because I do, but that means a lot coming from you. Also, there's a reason he's called Webmaster Doc. He is a doctor, so that means a lot coming from you. Paul, I know you're hopping on plane. I think you hop on planes just for fun.
Pretty much every other day or so, I just get on one, circle around, come back. No, I've been down there twice since the reopening. We've got another trip coming up in December. I've felt comfortable in all of our flights. We even most recently flew American, which has not been blocking middle seats, and I mean, even that was a comfortable experience. And knock on wood, I've been healthy and not had any issues. I also wonder during this time if a lot of people are traveling last minute. In looking at availability and things like that, that would be something that I would be doing if I had points available right now, and seeing that there's crazy availability. I mean, I just looked, and one of the rare birds out there is the Animal Kingdom Lodge Jumbo House value rooms, and even some of those are wide open through the month of December. So if you have points to use, if you need to use them, there's some great opportunities to be had. But we also might be seeing the effects of people already having banked their points into next year. There's been a lot of chatter on the group and on DVC Fan about whether or not we'll see those borrowing restrictions relax anytime soon. And I personally don't think we will, because I think they're seeing a lot of people banking their points into the next year, and we really don't know how stressed the system is going to get in 2021, early 2022. So I think we might be seeing just a lot of people not having points to use right now because they've made that decision early.
Now, for those of us who, Rob, have you been in the parks recently?
I have not.
Okay, so Jerry, Paul, and I.
January will be my first time.
Jerry, Paul, myself, and Fiasco have all been in the parks. And, I'm just going to speak from my own experience, because I didn't know what to expect going back in. I really didn't. How much different was this going to be? And it was different. It was. There's no, there was a difference. Didn't matter. It didn't matter. It was still great, right? I still loved being there. Whether it was back in Hollywood Studios, I haven't been back in Animal Kingdom yet, but Hollywood Studios, Epcot, Magic Kingdom, I had a great time. Different, but not bad, right? Anybody disagree?
I have been going back to the park since about 6 days after the original reopening. And while obviously the crowds have increased from the early months of reopening, it still feels very safe. I would say it's probably the safest place I've gone out in public and felt good. Going out to the grocery store, going out to the department store, stuff like that feels less okay than like Magic Kingdom or Epcot. On a scale of just comparing the parks to themselves, I feel like Epcot, Animal Kingdom, and Magic Kingdom all flow a lot more seamlessly than Hollywood Studios, just because of the nature of how Hollywood Studios is set up. Obviously, Galaxy's Edge, the hotspot, Toy Story Land, the hotspot, and then going into those lands, you have bottlenecky areas, whereas the other areas of the park are just completely empty all the time. So as far as, three I first mentioned, Magic, Epcot, Animal, go there throughout the entire park. It's super enjoyable, feels super safe. Hollywood, when I go to Hollywood, I tend to avoid Galaxy's Edge because that area is going to bottleneck. Everywhere else, I feel good to go.
There were a couple of times, especially on weekends, where I did not feel comfortable. The weekend that decorations went up in the Magic Kingdom, and they were getting ready to do the, not a castle projection show. It's just a castle projection, which was really good in and of itself. It was too crowded on Main Street. There was too many people, and I didn't feel comfortable, so I left and walked over to the Contemporary, and then discovered some of the holiday stuff they were doing at the Contemporary and lost my mind. Did a vlog on that. But generally speaking, in the resorts, I felt safer at Disney World than I did at my local Publix. And that's no lie. And Publix does a good job. Do a good job. It just felt like they knew what they were doing.
And I didn't even mention the resorts, but the resorts really feel different in a good way. The way that you're able to experience the resorts right now, or the way that I've been experiencing them right now, I feel like with everything that's been going on, it's been a rough year, but with the resorts and how they feel, it just feels very open. And I feel like when I go there, I'm noticing things that I've never even noticed before, like decor in windows and things of that nature. And I would like to mention, as a local, if you're a local, they have cracked down quite a bit on letting people into the resorts. Previously, it's hard to get into places like Contemporary and Grand Floridian because people use, that hack to just get into Magic Kingdom more easily. Now they're checking at all the resorts for reservations and stuff like that. So you can normally just pull into Copper Creek or something, and just be like, hey, I want to go to Geyser Point. And usually they'll let you in. Right now, you need reservations for everything, and it is making the resorts feel way more empty. So
I'm going to say something unpopular for locals. I think it should stay that way. That if you don't have a reservation, you don't get in. I think that's a good thing. And I think the resorts were ridiculously crowded to begin with. And it has made a difference. You're absolutely right. I still, even, over at the Contemporary, going up on the concourse, and it's not insane. It's really nice. And every time I'm up there, every single time, I'm like, take a mental picture. Remember what this feels like.
yeah.
Because I don't know if this time next year it's going to look like that. I hope it doesn't, really and truly. I hope we can get back to it. But I think this might be a really good time if you're comfortable traveling. Now, I will say I'm high risk, right? I'm diabetic. I'm slightly overweight. So I am at high risk for COVID. And like I said, I felt extremely comfortable, and I spent 2 weeks in and around parks and resorts and didn't come out with COVID. But that's my experience. That's all I'm saying. That was my experience. This might be a good year, though, if you've always wanted to come for the holidays, but you never have the availability, because it's everywhere. It's everywhere. Now, Jerry, you've stayed on property.
Yeah, stayed multiple times, Polynesian, Animal Kingdom, and been to the parks many times. Totally comfortable. Like you've mentioned, those resorts, it feels like you have it to yourself. You're in the lobby. It's not crowded at all. You can go into the gift shop. Again, it's a different experience. It's a great experience. I really enjoyed it. I wanted to kind of test the waters when the resorts reopened. Haven't had any issues since, and continue to book because of it's like a nice little getaway. And really then going into the parks, again, same thing. There are certain shops and certain things that are not open, so the experience is a little different. But again, it's completely fine. I've enjoyed every time I've gone and felt completely safe. Totally agree with the public's comment. Like, I feel safer at Disney than going to my local grocery store, even though it's fine. That's how safe Disney is. It's pretty well spread out, and they do a great job of keeping you socially distanced. Hand sanitizer pretty much everywhere. So it's been fine.
What also impressed me was a couple things about cast members. First of all, they've clearly been empowered on a level I don't think they were before to make magic for guests every opportunity they can find. And I watched it happen with me, watched it happen with other people, going on a lot. The service I'm seeing from cast members reminds me of the 90s. Reminds me of the time before the dark period when service went out the window. It's kind of back to that now, and that's been really nice. In a lot of ways, between the lower crowds at the parks, that level of service is kind of reminded me of what it used to be like. So maybe that's part of why I'm responding to it the way I am. But also, one of the big things I was concerned about was whether or not cast members were going to be aggressive about enforcing the mask policy. And the answer to that is a resounding yes. Mm-hmm. Every single time I saw somebody walking around either with the mask down around doing the chin diaper thing or having it below their nose. There was a cast member there saying, "Sir, you need to pull your mask up." And also the announcements over the loudspeaker. I don't know whether people realize this. Almost unheard of for park-wide announcements to be made at Disney theme parks. You never, ever heard that. At Epcot, you might hear, in 15 minutes, we're getting ready to do whatever. But if you ever heard them come on the intercom and say, "So-and-so, please report to guest services," somebody's dead. That's the only time they're going to do it. Constantly throughout the day, you're hearing these announcements in all the parks that masks are required, and if you don't wear one, you're going to be asked to leave. It's unambiguous. And I applaud them. I applaud them for doing that. Oh, and by the way, if you're an anti-masker, don't even bother with me. Okay? I got no time for you. Private property, they say they want masks. You wear a mask or don't go. That's all. So, all right. Anything else? Anything else we want to talk about the holidays?
On
that happy note? On that happy magical note?
One other thing I was going to throw in there was, even if you're not ready to go back to the parks themselves at this point, and you have points to spend or have the opportunity to go to Walt Disney World, it is wonderful to see how much they are doing at these resorts for the holiday season. They are not really backing down on anything. Other than we heard about the gingerbread houses that they're not doing this year. But, even Jumbo House is empty. Like, there are a handful of rooms open, and they still decked that place to the nines and put up the giant tree. And they're doing that across all the other resorts. So if you really just want to get away and enjoy a Disney Vacation Club resort, this is a great time to do it. There's plenty of availability.
Okay. So, talking about gingerbread houses. When I was over at the Contemporary, up on the concourse outside of Contempo Cafe, they had their holiday treats for this year. And one of them was a build your own gingerbread house. So it's a gingerbread Contemporary. I don't know if you can see it, with the monorail in there. And now I did not build this. Okay. I bought two of them and I gave them both to Denny Sunderly and said, "I want you to vlog making one and you can keep that one for yourself. Then you're going to make the other one and you're going to give it to me." So come on, $35 for this, $35 for this. And it's a Contemporary gingerbread house with a white chocolate monorail. I want to eat it.
Take a bite.
Well, no, because I don't have insulin. So I can't. But yeah, so some really, really fun stuff. Really, I agree with you, Paul. They're really going all out. trying to do everything they can to make the holidays special. So if you're inclined to visit Walt Disney World for the holidays, there is availability at the DVC resorts right now. And that means you can rent points as well. Again, dvcstore.com, or give them a call, 1-800-550-6493. And they can help you with that. But this is a great time to do it. So that's going to do it for this week's episode of the DVC show. We hope you enjoyed it, and we will see you again next week. Have a great week.